Welcome everyone to this webcast on Cloud Service Management and the upcoming release due out in early August called Jasmine. I am Rich Graves. I'm the Director of Product Management here at ServiceAide, and we also have Prasanna Nagaraj, who is our Senior Principal Product Manager who runs all the day-to-day operations on product management and working with the engineering team. So we will be walking through what's in this release. We'll talk a little bit about roadmap and sort of the vision, and that's why I have the disclaimer here. We are talking about futures. We're not making any commitments, with exact dates on futures. This is really for your discussion and aiding you in understanding where we're going and what we're thinking about and sort of the key challenges of the industry. So real quick, some recent updates. So we've been doing a lot really since the acquisition was done and the changes were made back in October. I think one of the biggest releases and the biggest new features is the new mobile app that's designed specifically for analysts and analyst use cases as far as viewing their queue, managing tickets, resolving tickets, adding images or attachments to tickets, leveraging your own filters that you've already built in the web directly in the mobile app. All that's there. We've heard tremendous feedback from the customers who are using it, but we want to make sure that everyone is aware of this. Many of our customers are not using it yet, so we want to make sure you're aware of this. This is a great tool for your analysts, especially level 2 analysts and managers. Those are people that don't, live inside the web interface, 8 hours a day as a level 1 analyst. So those level 2 analysts that are dealing with escalations, or a manager who's just keeping a track on several key tickets, this is a great way for them to do that without having to worry about opening up their laptop, logging into the web interface, and drilling down into the Ticket Center workspace. So they can do that very easily here, and I think it's a very helpful tool. We hear about many customers using it, checking on their queue before they hop in the car to commute to work, or checking in off hours to make sure everything's going well, because it enables that quick interaction. So definitely go to Google Play or the App Store to download that for Apple and Android devices. Next on the notification system. So we did roll out this new notification system back in March to make sure that if there is a disruption to service, if there's planned maintenance or emergency maintenance, that we have a way to communicate with you and get you those communications quickly. If you have not registered for this yet, please go to serviceaide.sendwordnow.com and you can register. Typically what most of our customers are doing is one person registers, and you can have up to 5 contact numbers associated with that profile, so that someone will register and put a internal distribution list that you use for the service desk team, or just add several people's email addresses, and then you can also add in mobile phone numbers if you want to get SMS notifications for that maintenance going on or that disruption to service. So please do that. We're also trying to use that if we have a lot of announcements. We don't want to use that as by any means, a marketing channel. It will not be used for those purposes. But if we have webcasts like this that we want to make sure everyone knows about, we'll leverage that notification system for that purpose as well. Other updates related to the Wiki site. So on the Wiki site, we've added the maintenance calendar, which has been there. Probably since about April, so you can take a look and see the planned maintenance windows for the rest of this calendar year, which should help you in your planning. So you can plan around if you have any internal maintenance you need to do. You can certainly plan around schedules related to Cloud Service Management maintenance. Also, we did have the July maintenance release, which had several defect fixes it's in the published fixes section of the Wiki. And the last thing is a new section of the Wiki we added called Monthly Service Availability. So what we want to do to improve visibility into how we're performing as your vendor is to publish our service availability on the Wiki each month. So we first published our June availability. So you can go into the Wiki and see sort of the summary that I'm showing the screenshot here of the CSM2 system, which was 99.96, and the CSM3 system, which was 99.93, how we're doing against the availability targets in performance. And you can drill down into each of those reports as well. If you want to see all the details, if there was a disruption of service, you can see the exact time of that disruption and how many seconds the system was down or unavailable during that disruption. So just want to make sure everyone's aware of that. It's important that we're transparent to our customers and you see how we're doing and make sure that we're delivering good service to you. The last thing I'll mention, we did publish some changes to our website, the actual ServiceAide.com website, as well as on the community. We have now 2 offerings of cloud service management. This is really just a change in packaging and licensing. It does not impact any of our existing customers. This is really how we're approaching new customers. We essentially have 2 offerings of cloud service management. One is what we call Service Desk, which is Service Desk Edition, which is a smaller feature set of cloud service management than what everyone on the phone is using today. It doesn't have change management or configuration management. It doesn't have all the same features that you find in the full cloud service management, which I'll talk about in just a second. That allows us to approach different markets. It allows us to go after customers that don't want all this functionality. They just want a service desk, and certainly at a lower price point as well. So that's one thing I wanted to make sure. If you go to our website and you see terminology like Service Desk and Service Management or Service Desk Edition and Service Management Edition, that you're not confused there. What everyone on the phone has and all of our existing customers have is now just that offering is labeled Service Management Edition. There's no functionality change. There's no pricing change. Essentially, we just rolled out a lower-end edition, but we needed to make sure we named things and branded things correctly. So Service Management Edition has all the features that you have today. You're using it, the same availability targets, the same functionality. This is our higher-end version of Cloud Service Management. The last thing I'll mention is the migration of the community. So we're still continuing to use the CA Communities platform. We're working with the CA team and our new vendor to roll out the new community. It's taking us longer than what we'd like, but we'll certainly be moving there. Hopefully in August we'll be announcing some details on that new system and how we're going to be moving all that content forward. So the priority is to move all the discussions, to move the ideas, and key documents all over to the new system so we don't lose any of that. So now on to Jasmine. So let me just check real quick for questions. Okay. So the Jasmine release will come out in August. So the second Saturday of August is when we're planning to go into production. I'll talk more about those dates and sort of working backwards from those dates where you will see other updates from us as far as staging will go live the week of July 31st. So likely the 31st, the 1st, and the 2nd, you'll see your staging update, systems be upgraded. But let's talk about the specific features and the functions and really the problems that Jasmine is solving for our customers. The first thing, and I mentioned this briefly on the last call we had around the Ivory release, this is something we did independent from our normal release cycle, and we're working with Salesforce right now to publish this to the App Exchange, the Salesforce App Store. So this is really a connector that we built between ServiceAide and Salesforce to enable those non-IT teams, so sales, marketing teams, account management teams that are working in Salesforce to have visibility into what's going on the support side. So the classic use case, and I'll use us, ServiceAide, as an example, our sales teams are using Salesforce. So they're managing our customers in Salesforce and understanding follow-ups, renewals, all that information in Salesforce. They need visibility into what's going on in the support system. Certainly they all have logins to Cloud Service Management. They can go into Cloud Service Management and look up tickets for all of you that are on the phone. But we wanted to make that a more seamless experience. The sales team needs to stay in Salesforce where they work, where they spend all of their day, and focus on their job, which is selling and renewing and keeping our customers happy. So there'll be a new section of the account page in Salesforce for anyone that's using this integration called ServiceAide Tickets, and it'll show all tickets for that account. So the account in Salesforce is the same as an organization in Cloud Service Management. So you'll see this section which has the tickets, which has the ticket number, which is a hyperlink to go directly into the system, the subject of the ticket, who's the end user on the ticket, when was it last updated, who's assigned to that ticket, and a configurable number of columns that you can use there of Service Desk or Cloud Service Management data. So what that gives is visibility for that salesperson. So if that salesperson is calling on a customer, they don't want to be blindsided by a bunch of support cases or a support case that's been sitting out there and engineering struggling or support struggling to solve this issue. So they want that visibility. If things are going well, that certainly helps. If the salesperson can help out, they can add a comment directly from Salesforce on that ticket. They can also open up a new ticket on the customer's behalf. So this is important to note. If you're using Salesforce inside your organization, if a customer has an issue, it's much easier for the salesperson to say, you know what, I'll log that for you real quick right now as we're on the phone, rather than telling the customer, hey, when we get off the phone, why don't you navigate to the support portal, log a ticket, and then we'll have someone get back to you. So it's just really enabling more transparency for sales and overall a better customer experience. Okay. So look for that. That'll be published to the AppExchange store very soon. We're just working with Salesforce on the approvals right now. So next on knowledge articles. So this is really, I think, probably the first step in a much larger strategy and vision on improving knowledge content and knowledge management and where we're going when we talk about machine learning as well. So we really wanted to increase the usage of knowledge, and I think this is a top idea on the community from our customers, was adding rich text support or multimedia support to knowledge articles that, number one, makes the article easier to read. If there's bulleted lists of steps, if there's a screenshot of an error, if there's an embedded video, that's much easier to read and digest for someone who's either an analyst or an end user who's trying to resolve their issue. So we've added rich text support to the symptoms field, the cause field, and the resolution field on the knowledge article. If you're familiar with the organization object in Cloud Service Management today, there's a rich text field there that allows you to add rich text to communication templates, so you can add some branding for the organization. So, there's a logo on their communications that go out. It's the same approach. We've enhanced it a little bit in adding the ability to embed videos as well. So something like a YouTube or a Vimeo video, you'll copy and paste the embed link from one of those sites and use this video embed sort of widget that we have in here, and you can embed that video as well. So this should really create much more usable, much more readable content that we think should enhance knowledge management for end users and analysts as well. Okay. Another improvement related to usability is on dragging and dropping attachments to tickets, to CIs, and knowledge articles as well. So again, if you're working on a ticket, if you're an analyst, if you're an administrator working on a ticket, and you have 3 or 4 attachments that you need to add to the attachment section, you have to do those one by one. You click Add New, browse, find it. Click Add New, browse, find it. Click Add New, browse, find it. So it's obviously a much better experience to drag and drop attachments. So if you open up your file browser, your file explorer, or grab a highlight, and copy, or highlight and just drag attachments from your desktop. Once you start dragging it to an object in the system that supports attachments like tickets, CIs, and articles, the screen will change and it'll refocus the ticket to the attachment section. So when you drop them, you'll see them immediately appear in that section. So that was a very important thing from a usability and customer experience perspective, to make sure that we're showing them that this transaction was successful. So if you drag them, it'll show you that you can drop them on there, and it'll show up in the attachment section immediately. So we do support up to 5 attachments at a time. So you can, drag 5 attachments and drop them right there. The same restrictions that you'd find in the tool for browsing and finding files, such as no uploading executables and things like that, those all still apply. Same with limits on size of files. All those rules are still in place. It's just an easier way now to drag and drop attachments to tickets. Next is on being able to now leverage your own mail servers. So this came in as a request from an existing customer and was an idea on the community for a while as well, that we leverage a mail service, we ServiceAide leverage a mail service to generate all these notifications that are going out. I mean, hundreds of thousands of notifications are going out every month from the system. And because of that volume, some mail server clients, the actual spam filters on those clients will sometimes sporadically mark that information as spam. So this has only been a problem for a few of our customers that have very strict spam filters because of the volume that we're sending. Over time, we'll become a trusted source and for many of those. But for several customers, they really wanted to leverage their own mail servers. That gives a couple of advantages. Number one, reduces the chance of spam since it's coming from your own mail servers, and also then you're controlling your own mail notifications. Those are happening in your environment. If you want higher levels of encryption, if you want to control that from a security perspective, you absolutely have the ability to do that now. So there are two new configuration parameters in the system that allow you to configure the port and the level of encryption, so you can then have CSM now call your mail servers and send all the email through your own email servers rather than leveraging our own. Okay, so just a nice configuration option for customers. Next on license management. So I'm going to spend some significant time over the next really 3-4 slides on license management because this is very important. I want to make sure that if there's any questions on this that you ask them and we address them. And then certainly this is important here. So if you're not aware of how license management works in the tool today, so meaning if you buy 10 named licenses of Cloud Service Management, Cloud Service Management today operates on what's called an audit approach. This is something that existed previous to the ServiceAide acquisition, which is really, buy what you think you need. If you use more, during a renewal, during an end of quarter, conversation, the company would audit and say, hey, you're using 11, let's pay for 11. That's just not something that we want to do at ServiceAide. Those audit approaches are not fun. Nobody ever likes being told that they're using more than what they're paying for. They want to use what they paid for, and if they need more, the customer, will certainly come back and tell us that. So we're going to roll out this new approach to license management, the transitioning away from this audit approach to the tool actually restricting and enforcing whatever you own, that's what you use. So we'll be rolling this out in sort of 3 phases. The first phase actually starts tomorrow, and I'll go into a little bit of detail here. So first, we're going to load all of the owned license information from contracts into your staging environments. At that point, it's purely just for your own information. You can view that in staging. There's no enforcement. There's no restriction on staging. There's no enforcement or restriction on production. But that data will be in your staging slice tomorrow. So that gives you an opportunity to review that information, understand if it's wrong, if someone copied some information from a contract wrong, if we have old information, please tell us and we want to fix it. We load this information from contracts that we have, and we want to make sure it's right, and we want to do this in a very slow rollout so that everybody feels comfortable with this. The next phase is what we call the warn phase. So with the Jasmine rollout, which is on August 12th, we'll have this owned information now in your production slice, and if you are out of compliance, we'll just warn the administrator. End users, analysts will have no idea. They're not affected in any way. They can continue to use the product as they were. But administrators will be notified if they are out of compliance inside the actual product, so they'll be able to see that as well. So if you're, as well as email notifications, you'll get email notifications as an administrator if you are out of compliance. Because we've found different situations where a customer bought, for example, 25 concurrent licenses, but they didn't understand what a concurrent license meant, and they were just assigning named licenses. Well, they're not, breaking the rules on purpose. They just didn't know what they own. So we want to roll out this owned information, inform all of our customers, go into this warning mode, so administrators are very clear on if there are issues well before we go through having the tool enforce it, just like any other SaaS tool would. So the last phase is enforce. So this is about approximately 30 days after the Jasmine release, so the next maintenance window in September, so the second Saturday in September, our plan is then to turn on enforcement. And so what that really means is if you take the example of if you own 10 named licenses and you have 10 named licenses already assigned, when you go to create that 11th named user, the system will not allow you to create that named user. It will inform you that all of your named licenses are now being used. And certainly you could deactivate an existing user, reassign them, make them a concurrent user, whatever the case may be. You can do that so that you can add a new user if necessary. But essentially the system won't allow you to assign more named licenses than what you own. On concurrent, it's a little bit different because concurrent, you can create as many concurrent users as you need because the enforcement comes on login. So if you own, again, 10 concurrent users, you'll start getting warnings, and then eventually the system will not allow new concurrent users to log in based on that, and the administrator will be notified on that. So if you're using 10, you're able to have 10 people log in at the same time. Okay? So if you do have questions on this, let me jump to the next slide because I have some key information there. If you do have questions on this, please feel free to reach out. Happy to discuss this more with anyone and make sure that this is very clear and that there's no surprises on this. Next on license management, we have added several new fields to the slice configuration screen. So you will start seeing these on your slice configuration screen in staging tomorrow. So if you log into staging tomorrow, you'll see a named license count and a concurrent license count. And this is based on the contracts that are currently active for your organization. I will say some of our customers have multiple slices, so that's when it's very, very important that you log in and make sure that we have the correct license amounts for each one of your slices. We may have mixed up tying a contract to a slice, and if that's wrong, let's get it right, and we'll make sure that's correct for you. There's one question that came in. So I am using the terms named and concurrent. These are the contract terms, and you'll see in the product today, if you're logging into production in the product, you'll see the terms floater, which is the same as concurrent, and fixed, which is the same as named. All those terms will be updated with the Jasmine release, so it's consistent both in the contracts and in the product. That was another confusing point, that they were different for whatever reason between the contract and in the product. So those will be fixed. Documentation will be updated, and you'll see named as a named user, which is previously fixed, and concurrent, which is a concurrent license user, which was previously floater. So again, just to make sure, before I move on to the next point on license management, please check in your system on August 20th, tomorrow, in your staging environment to take a look at these named license counts and concurrent license counts. And if you do have any questions on this, please reach out. I put an email address here, and I'll put it in the updates on the community, salesops@serviceaide.com. Or if you know who your account manager is, you can reach out to them directly. So salesops@ca.com, or just reach out to your account manager. So the last thing on license management, we want to also make sure that administrators have more visibility into usage and who's actually using their licenses. And this is especially important on named users. So if you have a limited number of named users and you have new employees, oh, someone just pointed out I have the wrong date put in here. Tomorrow, I put August 20th. I'm already thinking it's August. This should be July 20th. Staging slices will be updated tomorrow, July 20th. Excuse me, that is a typo there. I apologize. So it's important for administrators to be able to understand usage of named licensed users. So we've added a column into the user management screen. That's a new column that is last login time, or last login date. And so you can see now in user management the time that someone last logged in. If they haven't logged in 90 days, well, that's a great candidate to say, you know what, you can have a shared concurrent license, or we'll make you a self-service user, and we'll give someone else that named license. As was mentioned before in the questions, we have adjusted the license types. This will come in Jasmine. You'll see under license types now that the license types are self-service, named, and concurrent. So again, fixed is the same as named. We're just rebranding to be in alignment with what our contracts say, and concurrent is the same as floater. We'll also be adding a new workspace in the next release, so after Jasmine, called Subscription Center, which is a dedicated workspace for monitoring usage and understanding how many licenses you own and how many are actually being used. So it gives you much more visibility to move things around or change things, or if you do want to request more licenses, you can do that all from that workspace, Subscription Center. Okay. The next thing related to license management is on sessions. So on sessions, the system, starting with Jasmine, will enforce the number of active sessions that any user can have, any licensed user. End users can have as many sessions as they want, but it's focused on the web client. A licensed analyst or administrator can have 2 active sessions at a time. This is primarily from talking to customers. We found that it's very common for someone to have 2 browsers open, maybe one in Chrome with the administration open and one in Firefox with the analyst, ticket center open. I found that's very common. Even sometimes people are logged into 2 different machines at the time. So we felt that 2 sessions was very reasonable to be able to allow our customers to have 2 logins or 2 sessions for the same user at the same time. If you do attempt to log in a 3rd time, we'll pop up a warning at login and say, hey, you have 2 active sessions. You need to terminate 1 or more of those sessions to move forward. You can certainly cancel, leave those sessions going if you need to. Also, we exposed the Manage Sessions workspace for administrators. So administrators can see who all is logged in right now, so all active sessions, and they can then terminate or log out those users if necessary. So this could be a case where someone, forgets to log out and they go home and maybe they have some tickets locked or something like that, and you want to log out their session before the automatic timeout were to hit. So administrators have much more visibility and control there than in previous releases. Okay. I'll turn it over to Prasanna for a demonstration of many of these features in just a second, but the last couple items I'll cover here is we've also added a small feature for self-service users now to be able to search in the Elasticsearch feature, the global search feature, for archived tickets as well. So if you're using, or if your slice has the archival tickets enabled, that now end users can search for active tickets and archived tickets as well. Also on the improved upgrade experience, so it was a huge step forward in the last release, so Ivory on the CSM3 environment. We did that upgrade with 0 downtime, and that was a huge improvement and a big milestone, and really the right step forward that we want to make as we deliver and become a better DevOps organization for our customers. So I think what you'll see as we move forward right now, we know we're not going to be able to do every single release with 0 downtime, but it will be significantly reduced from the typical 4-hour maintenance window with 3 to 4 hours of actual downtime. So I don't have the exact specs for this upgrade as we're still going through all the final testing at this point, but we're hoping that it is well under an hour, and we're talking about minutes of downtime for an upgrade. We still have some other architectural improvements and structure improvements that we want to do to the system and the environment so that we can consistently deliver new releases and maintenance with 0 downtime. And that just gives us much more flexibility if we want to deliver faster, if we want to deliver small releases every 2 weeks or every month. That gives us a lot more flexibility if there's no impact to your environment. So more to come there, but you should see a maintenance window that's significantly reduced, or actual downtime is significantly reduced from older releases. Last, on the mobile app, we've had several bug fixes over the last few weeks. We're still working on the self-service functionality. We just finished up some usability testing, and there's some areas we want to improve and we know we can make better. We really want to get this to be a great release for self-service users as we build that into the new mobile app. And of course, with every release, defect fixes will come as well. So as I'm passing it over to Prasanna for the demonstration, If there are any other questions, I'm seeing on the chat, I think we answered everything. Any other questions on the chat, we'll certainly take them. And if you would like to unmute yourself and ask an audio question, you're certainly welcome to as well. Okay.
Thank you, Rich. I'll share my screen for the demonstration. So let me know when you can see the screen.
Yep, we can see it.
Okay, I'll start with the Salesforce integration. I think Rich mentioned that this is a great tool for the sales team to understand where their customers, what tickets have raised by their customers, and then what is the progress, what is the update on them, and then it would help to add new work log to that, add few comments to push the support team to work on those tickets, and also create new ticket on behalf of customers. So this would be an app sort of thing which would get published in the Salesforce App Exchange program, and then once you install that particular app, you would get a new configuration page where you would see ServiceAide configuration. So where you would need to specify the URL and then the details for the login. It would be your admin account to specify the login. Just for typing and just using the internal one of them. So apart from that, we have a couple of options over here. In some cases where the Salesforce team is not allowed to create a new ticket for the in the support system. So in case there are any restriction on licenses or something like that, so you can probably make it disabled. So that new ticket creation would be disabled, and also work log creation, adding a new work log. So these are like optional ones in case if someone has restriction to update or create new, they can do that. Apart from that, we expose all this information in the lookup on the table there. So if you want to restrict some of them, you could do that by disabling that particular field, then save that particular configuration. So once you save that configuration, what we have done in each and every account, for example, I'm just taking an example here, go to an account. So once you get into that particular account, you would get a new field called ServiceAide tickets. So that's the support tickets or the ServiceAide tickets which are created for this particular customer ABC, and these are the current status of that. So it would get for the last 30 days all the tickets, even if it is closed, it would give me a list of all the tickets, and also you could see the status of them and then last updated work log for them. So in case if you want a salesperson wants to add a work log to expedite this particular issue, he can go and do that, and then selecting that particular ticket which he wants to add a work log, he will just go to add work log and then put an update that please update the status customer has prioritized the defect or something like that. You want to get attention of the support team, so you can just update them, and then you would see that update. You could see that last work got refreshed, and then you would see that please update the status customer has prioritized this particular defect. So, and also same time, in case if you wants to create a ticket on behalf of a customer, he would be able to do that directly there. Then just putting an example here of the account which I have got, and then a sample description. And this one needs to be there in the last name, comma, first name format. I'll just put like in that format, and then this is a new ticket for ABC. think it's so it would take that values, and then this is a new ticket which I just created. It gets added to the system. You could see that listing get updated there. That's how you will be able to configure the Salesforce app to make the sales team happy with the updates from the support one. Next, I would go to the text part. So where we have enabled the new functionality for creating the rich text document. Then for testing purpose, I thought article probably how to troubleshoot. I'm just creating a dummy, this one for Outlook, which might be a common one. And then I got some document from Microsoft site, which I want to just use for the summary or the symptom here. I can just copy that information to the symptom. Now comes the complete information. Even that has also the video link or embedded video. So I'll just copy everything and then create a document. I'll just put that inside the solution part of it. So and then put some costs. I'll just put the same information in the cost field and then save this particular article. Okay, category is an important mandatory field. I'll put for outage. No, I'll put for fact. I have not created any specific category. Let me go and put it in fact. Save, and then you can publish this article. So now if I'm creating a ticket and then want to see this particular solution, let me navigate to that. Let me create an incident and then put in my credentials for which I'm creating a ticket. Look here, something like that. And then save this ticket. So go and search for a solution with Outlook. So you would be able to see this particular solution. And then here you see that whatever the information which you have put in there, it's showing me in only the text field here. So that's how it could be get stored in the ticket. That would help in searching and other information. And but if you go and then use this as a solution or view KB article in a tab, so you would see that article in the real with the rich text one with the embedded video inside that. So you could play that and then have them the video to sort that particular problem created this one. So and also in case if you use that as a solution inside this one, it would store that cause and solution inside the solution of the ticket for future reference. You use this as a solution, and then you could see that you would also see that link for this one solution, and also cause and residue solution gets copied to the with that information which are there. So that's a new enhancement on the rich text we have done. And next one, coming to the drag and drop feature. So we have done to enable this one. Just taking an example, I just put a new ticket I've created and then I have the error screenshot available with me, or any attachment which is required, and then we can just use that, and then if the ticket is open, I can just drop it anywhere. In that ticket, it would, all the 3 attachments which I have selected would get attached to the ticket. It would follow the same rules of attachment, like exe files are not allowed to attach, and the file size, everything. But it's only easy way to attach the attachments to the ticket. So that has got restriction in case if I wanted just to show for this one, if I select more and then try to drag and drop, it would show me more than 5 are not allowed to download. In case you can probably want to have them attached still, but you can do 5 at a time and then have them attached to the ticket in an easy and better way. So this attachment drag and drop function is enabled in the ticket center, and then knowledge article, and also for the configuration item. So where all we have the attachment section, we would probably have this feature coming up. But for these 3 are the areas which we have added in the Jasmine release. That's on the drag and drop feature. And then coming to the session management, for the demonstration purpose, what I would do is I've already logged in the Chrome with the, for the admin user. Let me go and add login in the Firefox. Environment, this would be my second login because we allow 2 sessions. So it would allow you to log in, and then if I want to just try it for the testing purpose, if I want to log in from my 3rd browser, which is IE, I am just using for testing. So you would get a message stating that you have 2 other sessions. If you want to kill one of the session to continue, you can cancel that in case if you don't want to kill any of the session, or if you want to kill one of the session, you can kill the Firefox session. You can go and kill, and then you would allow you to log in here. So that Firefox session would get killed whenever they refresh from Firefox. In case if they want to log in, or do any action, the session would get killed, and it will prompt for the new action there. And you can see that internal error, or it would get killed, and then you would have the session available for you to log in the Internet Explorer, or the 3rd session, wherever you are doing that. This one. So that's on the session management. And then the licensing, I've not enabled the, so all still in the non-enforce mode. Will not be able to demonstrate that. But what we have done for the license management is, let me navigate to the user session. So we have added the last login time to capture and filter. You can probably filter also using the type of this ones to view what are all types of systems was the last login time, and then some of them is not logging into the system. We can probably use that license to assign it to some other user in the system. And coming back to the other functionality of mail. So what we have done is we have added 2 new configuration parameters in the system for enabling the email communication. So one is this port, in case if you want to have a different specific port and then use different SMTP like SMTPS, secured SMTP, or TLS enabled SMTP. You can do that by specifying the what type of encryption you want to have in the system, in none or SSL based or TLS based. And also you can have the option to specify what is the port for that. So this is where you can avoid the probably the problem of reusing and then getting this one in the trash. It goes to the issues with multiple messages sending by our messaging server. So you can have your own messaging system or email server to send the mails to the end users there. So that's more of the system or the new features which we have enhanced in this coming release. Any questions? Take it up.
There was a couple of questions while you're talking, Prasanna, just to reiterate those. The drag and drop attachments, someone asked about, are they global attachments or private attachments? They are not global. They're just attached just to that object and not made global.
Once they have the attachment, they can want to make it global. They can still make that attachment as global later.
Yep. Okay. Okay. Any other questions on the phone? Anyone, feel free to unmute your line with the red microphone button and ask a question. Otherwise, chat is always available as well. Okay. Well, let's jump back into the PowerPoint and let
me stop
folks
sharing.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, again, feel free to ask a question at any point. We'll leave a few more minutes as we're closing out for questions as well. I did want to cover a bit of the roadmap and really just talk about sort of the high-level dates as well as some of the key challenges that we're focused on from that perspective. So as far as what's next after Jasmine, so August 2017, the Jasmine release will roll out into production. 3 months from then is November 2017, and that's the next release is the key release. Again, we're going in alphabetical order and lucky symbols. We'll have maintenance releases in between, so we have a maintenance window already on the calendar for September, second weekend of September, and the second weekend of October. Don't know if we're going to use all those, but I'm sure if we have bug fixes and if there's things we can do, we'll certainly leverage those windows to update and make sure the system's running well. After November, the next release is scheduled for February, and then another one in May. We don't have names yet, but there'll be the L release and the M release, so we'll get back to you on those names. As far as how ServiceAide thinks about this market and how what are the key challenges we see. So as we're building out our roadmap and vision, I think we're really trying to tackle this opportunity in a different way and ultimately give value to you, our customers. The number one sort of trend that we see and we're hearing from our existing customers as well as when we go to HCI and ITSMF and the other industry events is that this really hasn't changed, but there's this continued increase in demand from end users. So end users have more technology, there's more SaaS applications that departments or organizations are using, but there's also a need to increase customer satisfaction. So because they have increased demand, it doesn't mean they're lessening their need for great customer service. So that's sort of number one. Number two is really a change in how users react. Now, mobile is obviously an accepted thing, and that's probably been accepted since 10 years ago when the iPhone is invented. But what's changing is a shift as analysts and the IT teams use mobile for more and more tasks, and users are already shifting on to what's next, and that's the chat and messenger apps. We've seen, and doing a lot of research on this, that there's more people using, Facebook Messenger, WhatsApp, Telegram, WeChat than on a daily basis than are using, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram combined. I mean, this trend is pretty amazing. And what we're also seeing, if you look at the different app stores, the amount of different applications that a user is downloading is starting to shrink. If you have, WhatsApp or you have WeChat, which is a great example in China, you can, order your Uber on WeChat. You can order food on WeChat. So why not, the next steps is what will eventually happen of why would you download the American Airlines or the Delta Airlines app on your phone when you can check in on Facebook Messenger, for example, or WhatsApp. So we really see that as the future of these conversational apps or building in functionality into these chat or messenger apps as being the future. So we'll talk a little bit about that next. And last but certainly not least, is continuing to be an influx of business and IT applications that the support team is suddenly responsible for. So different departments have more SaaS applications that they're using that have demands on IT. This is just increasing in pace. This has never changed. This is always happening, but the pace has increased significantly, and so there needs to be an easy way to connect to those applications to better support them. So, when we think about this, of how we're building a roadmap and a vision to resolve these challenges and to deliver better service management for our customers, first is around creating intelligent service management. That's number one. That's why this company exists, why ServiceAide exists. ServiceAide came from an organization that had a machine learning platform and then purchased a service management platform, and the whole goal is to merge these things together, really about giving information to end users and analysts that will make them more efficient, so really driving down mean time to resolution. So that's what you'll see, I think, really coming out in our next release in November. That'll be our first big step into machine learning and providing more intelligence in the application itself. The next point, and this relates to that chat and messenger experience, is we want to continue building out that analyst and self-service mobile app and really create an industry-leading mobile app. What I always tell our engineering team is we want to put the web interface out of business. How can we achieve that? How can we create such a great mobile experience that people would just prefer to use the mobile app because they can get things done easier and faster? Certainly we're not going to retire the web app by any means, but that's really the goal that we're chasing. On chat, we're going to start building out chatbots for different messaging platforms so that you can integrate them so a customer can come in, start working with IT, but IT happens to be a chatbot as the first sort of step of triaging, understanding where the problem is. If it can resolve it in an automated way. If not, get all that information, create a well-formed ticket, and pass it on to an analyst that can resolve their issue. So we're doing a lot of really exciting stuff around chatbots, and that ties into the machine learning platform as well. Last but certainly not least is what we call, and if you've seen our website, hyperconnectivity. So how can we make it much easier to integrate with the service management system and really make cloud service management that connected hub for fulfillment? So if people are coming into the catalog, how can we automate that process, trigger other systems, connect to, e-bonding to other service desks, connect to Salesforce, connect to remote control tools. So how can we enable this connected hub where it's easy for you to set up integrations, connect integrations, have a large number of out-of-the-box integrations and things we can support. So that's one thing we'll be working on as well for that connectivity. Okay, so I know this is high level, but I think this hopefully shows you what we're thinking about and where we'll be spending our investment dollars to improve the solution is on these three big areas. Obviously, we'll continue improving some of the base functionality of the tool, and we'll always do that, but this is where we're trying to be, differentiate ourselves and add sort of unique value that our customers can take advantage of. Okay. So we are just a few minutes left. I'll leave some time for questions, but just a few summary items here. So again, to highlight the dates, the Jasmine release will go live in production the weekend of August 12th, so August 12th and 13th, and we'll go live in staging the week of July 31st. So July 31st is a Monday. So that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is when we're targeting upgrades to the staging environment. So you have about 10 calendar days to test, to provide feedback, and if there are bugs, we'll certainly do our best to fix them in a timely manner before going into production. Additionally, if you are interested in participating, I will be publishing some research studies on the community. We're doing self-service mobile app usability studies right now that we need as much feedback as possible. We want to get it right before we launch it. And also doing some research on machine learning. I've emailed many of you, but I'd love to talk to everyone I possibly can on ways we can have machine learning help solve real problems for you. And then last, and the next major release targeted for November is what we're working on after this Jasmine release. So any questions? Feel free if you want to ask an audio question now, the red microphone next to your name, or ask a question on chat, and we'll stick around and make sure we answer all those. Prasanna, were there any other questions that came across on chat that we need to answer?
No, I didn't see any questions there.
Okay, one question came in, how do I know which release my staging slice is on? So right now, all slices, all environments, production, staging, trial, whatever, are all on Ivory in the maintenance that we put out in July. So typically, every slice, every environment's on the same version or same release. The only time that things are out of sync is 2 weeks before a production upgrade where staging is upgraded first. We give you that about 10 calendar days to evaluate staging and then go into production. So everything right now is on the exact same release, which is Ivory, and we'll go to Jasmine the week of July 31st in staging, and then August 12th in production, and at that point, all environments are on the same release again. So it's just that short amount of time where staging is slightly ahead of production. Hope that makes sense. Okay. Any other questions on the phone? Okay. All right, we'll go ahead and stop the recording. If you do need to leave, we got everybody out of here on time. That's fine. Prasanna and I will stay on the phone and on the WebEx if you do have any questions, so feel free to ask a question on chat or on the phone, and we'll hang around. In the recording I should have live on the community probably in the next 48 hours before the end of the week. So thanks everyone for joining. I really appreciate your time. And